Hello everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Cassidy. I just finished up my first semester as a junior at art school. I'm a photography major, and today I just wanted to go over the work that I've made this semester. If anyone's curious what the work of a junior photo major looks like, this is the video for you. So I'm a full-time student and I took a full 15 credits this semester, which is 5 classes. 2 of those were liberal arts, and the other 3 were studio courses where you're making work. My liberal arts classes, just to give like a little overview, I had creating and running a business, which was kind of fun. I got to make a business plan for the Cat Cube, which is something in my last semester review video, which was my first freshman semester. So if you're curious, want to see that, I'll link that. I got to team up with a group of people to create the pitch for this fake company that manufactures these cat cubes and sells them online. My second liberal arts class, I got to learn about being a teaching artist, and I also got the opportunity to work with a second grade classroom and teach them how to use plasticine clay to talk about the life cycle of a mealworm. My first studio class, and I'm kind of going in order here, so this was my Monday class, was Intro to Filmmaking. As a photo major, I have to take 26 elective credits outside of my major, and filmmaking is always something I've been interested in. So you can maybe tell from my YouTube channel that I've sporadically uploaded to since 2012. And we had 4 main projects in this class, plus a couple other activities. The first one was a diary film. For this video, we collected like scenes and clips from our daily life over the course of about a week. I really enjoyed this project. I don't know how I feel about the final product. I feel like there could be more there, but here's a quick clip. I may or may not upload the full thing later to my YouTube channel, but for ease of access, I'm just going to do clips for all of these. The second was a group project that we completed during class time, and we were learning how to sync our audio with our video using 2 different devices. Again, something I've kind of already done because of YouTube. We were given a dialogue prompt, which was a lot of fun because we got to see how each group interpreted it. So here's a little clip from Dead Body. Very dramatic, really ridiculous.
So how long do you think this will take?
What? Hard to tell.
Yeah, if you say so.
The third project was another group project. This one, instead of sync sound, we were doing non-sync documentaries. For this project, we created the visuals and the audio completely separately. The prompt was to interview people and ask them one question that was a little more like abstract. We asked people what their weirdest college experience was, and we got 2 really good stories. Here's a little clip of that.
He was doing a good job presenting, and next thing, he pulls out an egg from his pocket and then smacks it against the countertop, and egg just goes everywhere. It goes on my laptop, it's on my keyboard, and I was in shock. I was like, what made the experience even more shocking was the fact that he kept an egg in his pocket for the whole 3 hours of class.
The final project I super enjoyed making. We were given free reign. We could work in a group or by ourselves, and we were given 4 different prompts. We could do a narrative, experimental, documentary, or there's another narrative option that was a little bit different. I chose documentary because I've been making a lot of work about identity and how we show our identity through our dress or different expressions. So I created a documentary film about my roommate and best friend getting ready for their parents to visit. And so it's this cut together, kind of funny, really high energy video of my roommate trying to figure out what clothes they're going to wear for their parents visiting. Here's a quick clip from it, but I am uploading it tomorrow, so if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to subscribe. What's wrong?
No, I think I like it.
Why are you hesitating?
Well, I think it's because I look like shit. No, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I can't just have a fish try something else on. We gotta do some other things. My hair, for one thing, looks like shit. Should I wear that one? My mother says, hello, we are 20 minutes away. XOXO. I think this is it. I feel... Do you think this is handmade?
My second studio course of the week on Tuesdays was photo systems. I still don't know what this class was, but we got some really nice prompts. We did 4 big projects and were given a lot of time to work on them. The first was camera-less photographs. So kind of any way we wanted, we had to make a photograph without a camera. Some of the options for this are like scanning or like working in the darkroom, and instead of putting a negative on top of photosensitive paper, putting objects or chemicals. I did photograms, which are placing objects on photosensitive paper and then shining light through them. I created these. They are kind of made to mimic like space, but it was all done with glass cups and a couple other objects. There's some yarn in there. Objects that really refracted the light in these really weird ways. Our second project was cross-pollination. We had to do essentially research in some other like curriculum. I combined folklore and like myth and legend with photography to create these. These are 6 self-portraits of me masquerading as characters from folklore, and they're shot in the studio a lot like professional headshots would be. I was really happy with this project, and it made it into my junior review, which is this terrifying thing you have to do as a junior art student. At least at my school, it's a little bit different for everyone. Some people do it sophomore year, and it essentially like grants you access to the upper level classes, and you put your work up on the wall and 3 teachers talk about it and talk to you, and it was terrifying. But I'm really happy with this work, and this is definitely something I'm going to be working with moving forward. The third project was a photo installation. This was a lot of fun and actually sparked me to be taking an installation course next semester. For this project, I made a paper doll out of myself, like my own form and my own clothes. This was like a really heavy, like, digital editing and physical like cutting experience. The final installation of it was this really wonderful cozy space. Like I used a rug and like a lantern light in this little corner of the school to create an experience out of an installation. This was a lot of fun, and like I said, I'm taking more installation courses in the future, and I'm excited to see what I can do combining photography with installation. The fourth project I don't actually have. My teacher took it to grade it, and I was supposed to pick it up yesterday and I forgot to. But this fourth project was talking about the ubiquity of photography, how it's really everywhere, how we're overloaded with images every day, everywhere. We could either create an archive, which is collecting images from somewhere else that other people have taken, or we could create our own images talking about ubiquity. I chose to create an archive of people selling mirrors on Facebook Marketplace. This has like been in the news kind of before, like how ridiculous it is. People like trying to avoid being in the mirror reflection. But I found it really interesting. I did a double spiral bound book. So it was 2 books bound back to back. It was a lot of fun to make, really complicated, and I'm really glad I know how to do it now, and I know how to spiral bind things. The first book was people in the reflections, either really actively avoiding being in it, you can just see their wrist at a weird angle holding their phone, or they just like posed for the camera. And the other book was people's locations being reflected. I also cut these out digitally in Photoshop, so we're focusing only on the reflections when you look in the book. This was because that was what was interesting about these photos more than anything else. I was really interested in the accidental nature of this reflection. People were purposefully uploading these photos to sell something. There was this weird, like almost voyeuristic look into their life, either through like their personality as they avoided the mirror, or all the stuff that they have in their home. My last class was Digital Photography Studio, which was weird. We all agreed in the class that this shouldn't be a junior level course. It should really be like freshman year. It was just learning how to use the Adobe Suite, specifically Photoshop, Bridge, and Lightroom, and just learning the more like advanced tools that are within it. Things that are super helpful, but I've kind of already taught myself because I've needed to know them for other projects. We did a lot of activities more than projects in this class, which made it kind of difficult to really get involved in or to really put a lot of effort into. The first was refurbishing an old photo. We were prompted to find a damaged photo at home, like from our own lives, and my mom provided me with this one of my grandma and great-grandma from whatever year, and then I refurbished it in Photoshop by fixing the color a little bit, getting rid of the cracks and scratches. Again, kind of a fun little activity, but this was our first assignment my senior year of high school. The first thing we did was refurbish in Photoshop. The second was using the aperture priority and shutter priority modes on our camera. Again, something I'm really well versed with from shooting for robotics. And because I really hadn't figured out that these were activities, like these were little projects to teach a really technical skill, I hated what I made because I was trying to connect it back to like the actual fine artwork that I make, but there was a disconnect there. The third thing we did was portrait retouching. Again, this is something we had the exact same prompt in high school. I'm now suspicious that my teacher stole from this course at my art college. We had to edit a portrait of ourselves that we took in the studio with a really nice camera. We had to retouch it 2 different ways. One in a very like commercial, like fashion magazine, like completely soften our skin and get rid of imperfections. And the other we were to make unrecognizable. For my second one, this unrecognizable edit, I turned myself into one of my D&D characters, who is a little tiefling. Our fourth activity was creating HDR images, and not like the really crunchy, cheesy HDR that like Instagram or your phone can make, but actually taking different exposures of a big landscape scene. So exposing correctly for the sky, for the shadows, for the highlights, things of that nature. I created this image, which I honestly, I kind of dig it. But again, this is just a little activity. Our fifth activity was kind of along the same lines, but instead of stacking different exposures, we were stacking focus so that this entire object was in focus. I created this. Honestly, it's kind of ugly, but whatever. The big capstone of this course was to create a semester-long project that uses digital photography in some way, either digital processing or just how much a digital camera can do. I created this series. It doesn't have a name because we didn't have to. Again, weird class. But I created this series inspired by those original folklore portraits. But instead of the studio space, I was putting these characters in the domestic setting of my own apartment. The project minimum was 10 images. I really wish it was 8 because I think some of these diptychs that I created weren't as effective as other ones. But again, I created these creatures in these settings and then made a diptych by taking either a portrait of the other person that's featured in a couple of them, or really focusing on these domestic objects to push that idea. So that was all of my projects for my first semester of junior year. 3 semesters to graduation with my Bachelor's of Fine Art. I'm really excited about the work that I created. Again, that photo systems class was a really wonderful opportunity. I had a really productive semester in that regard. Also, my teaching artist class, one of my liberal arts, has really like grabbed me. I originally was going to go to school to be a teacher, and then learning about this occupation where you are a teacher but you have your own art practice is really exciting. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, night, evening thing. Thank you for coming along on this wild daily video journey. Tomorrow I'll be uploading my documentary from my filmmaking class. Check it out. Have a great day, night, evening thing. Bye.